What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Cucco Attack. This is episode number 30. Surprised that we ever got this way, this far at least. But took 4 years, 5 years, something like that.
I've lost count of time after life. So
yeah, for sure. So today is February 8th, 2023, and we just had a Nintendo Direct.
The best directs in like forever. Like, this was amazing.
Yeah. It's funny because like they really hit for the 30 and up crowd after about the halfway mark, and I was very pleased with the last half.
I will say the biggest announcements were definitely the nostalgia ones.
So, but before we get into that, what have you been playing?
Been playing a few games to start the year. I think I'm up to 5 games beat for 2023 so far. So I won't mention all 5, but a few that I've been playing. One was called Lego Builder's Journey. I think it was a game they gave away free on Epic a while back. I think in December. That was pretty cool. It was like a little puzzly game. Kind of think of like these little dioramas that you play through, like Captain Toad, but much smaller scale. Mm-hmm. And you kind of just like build blocks or paths with the Lego blocks, and they introduce a cool concept and then have you do that for like 2 or 3 levels, and like, okay, enough of that, new concept, and it just keeps going and going, and it was a pretty cool game.
It's cool. Yeah. I've never played any of the Lego games at all.
Yeah, this isn't like your what you usually think of a Lego game. Like,
gotcha.
Where you just destroy everything. No,
yeah.
This was actually like a weird, like indie puzzle Lego game, which was cool.
That's cool.
So, and then PlayStation Plus gave out some cool games for January. So I played through Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which surprised me. That was cooler than I thought.
Yeah, everyone seems to really like that one. So
yeah, it had a lot of good like Star Wars just energy with it, and it was like a fun adventure game. Wasn't super crazy about the combat. It's a little like they described Dark Souls light. So like I had to turn down the difficulty for that final boss because it was just unfair at that point. So I was like, I just want to finish this game. So
yeah, that's always a good way to do it.
Yeah. So I looked done. All right. Glad I did that.
I remember you telling me to do that for God of War, and I was like, no, I've made it this far, I'm gonna beat it on normal.
Yeah, God of War I could manage. That felt more fair. Then I played Axiom Verge 2, which was just a cool, like, little Metroidvania game.
Did you play the first one?
I did not.
No.
I've tried the style of the first one for some reason. Yeah.
I've tried to play it multiple times. I have it on the Wii U, and I have it on the Switch, but I don't know. I tried playing it twice and never really got into it.
Honestly, like Metroid 1 NES is not my favorite of like Metroid.
Me
I'm not
either.
very. Which I think is what it paid more homage to, which is why I didn't really care for Axiom Verge 1.
Yeah.
But this one felt more like, I guess, like SNES inspirations, so it was cool.
That's why I want to play. I want to play Mission Zero. So, yeah, Metroid Mission Zero. Yeah.
Oh, Metroid Zero Mission.
Zero Mission. Sorry. Jeez.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with me?
No.
Sadly, I've owned that game a couple times too, and now it's kind of pricey, so I don't think I'll be getting that again.
I have it on GBA if you're wrong.
Oh, do you? Oh,
yeah.
I might have to take you up on that one.
All right.
Because I've been wanting to play it for a long time, and I've had it. I've had it boxed. Yeah. And I used to have this really cool like store display diorama of it, but I traded it for I traded that and some other boxes and stuff I had for Demon's Crest on the SNES,
Nice.
which I no longer have either. So
The
it's a vicious
of
cycle
life for games.
Yes.
But yeah, Axiom Verge was pretty cool. I wasn't crazy about the story, but the gameplay was satisfying enough. I really like when you get to turn into like a drone beetle. Like, I guess that's the game's equivalent of your morph ball mode, but it was really fun. Like the moveset it had, and like flapping and buzzing and stuff. And yeah, so
It's cool. I'll have to check it out though. I picked it up too, so
yeah,
picked up everything
for free. I was like, why not?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So
and then
that game only
last
got
but
me a
not-
73 or 76 in fantasy last year. Or the year before. I don't remember
that
how
seems
long.
about right, personally, how I feel after beating it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Not
hoping
to
for
say
more.
it's bad. It was good.
I was hoping for more because the first one was so like well regarded. But the fact that it's made by like one guy is kind of crazy too.
That is crazy, though. I
So-
have to give credit for that. It's impressive in that regard.
Yeah.
Sorry
to cut you off.
No. What was that? Oh, yeah. So last but not least, which we'll kind of get into a little bit of the news, but Xbox had a big direct and shadow dropped one game, which got me to sign up for Game Pass for the month of February. Haven't got to play that game yet due to errors and it
What
crashing.
game is it?
Hi-Fi Rush. I
Every-
really wanted to play it.
Which
Ugh,
everyone says is great, so it's kind of.
I know, which
Yeah.
makes me want to play it more. It's like, get started. Because it looks so cool with the animation, like Spider-Verse style. It's a music game. I love music games, and I was
Yeah.
actually like laughing at the trailer, so that got good humor. I want to play it, but not yet.
Yeah.
So instead, I've been playing other games I wanted to play on Game Pass, starting with Eastward, which you might remember as that cool retro style game that looks like Earthbound mixed with like Zelda and a like post-apocalyptic world. So
Yeah, I've been watching you play that a little bit the
Yeah.
last couple days, and looks interesting for sure. And it was something that caught my eye like last year. Once I think you and Sadish actually told me about it, and then I saw the trailer and was like, that actually looks pretty good. And
yeah,
so picked it up.
Yeah.
That was another fantasy game last year. So
it's a fantasy Hall of Fame game now for.
yeah,
Or no.
no, that's
That
not
was
it.
on your team. Yeah, never
Yeah,
mind.
that was on my team. That was a loser, a big fat
Get this game
loser.
out of here.
Yeah, that game did not save my season.
But yeah, no, it's pretty fun so far. Like artistically, like the graphics and the music, it's like awesome. And when you get into like the Zelda gameplay moments, it's actually pretty fun. When it's not in those moments, it's fine. The pacing's a little long sometimes, with lots of fetch quests and just like dialogue. But I'm enjoying it. So I'm definitely gonna play it through to its end. So
Cool.
yeah. But you, sir, I know you played like one or two games at least.
I've
so-
played almost nothing this year as far as like a single player adventure, anything like that. So this past weekend, I showed my son Metal Slug on the arcade cabinet, just hoping that he would like it, and he loved it. So we played through all of Metal Slug X. I think between the two of us, we used like 80 credits. So, it would have been like $200, but it was a lot of fun though. I mean, we played the whole thing, and he did great for never playing that type of game before. He was shooting up when I told him to shoot up, shoot down. He was jumping platforms. There was one little platform. There's I don't know if you remember which Metal Slug you've played, but
I think I've only ever played that like original like one.
So when you're inside this like a tomb. It's like a tower in the sand. It's like sand level,
Mhm.
and there's like mummies and stuff that come up, and they turn you into mummies as well if they're like poison curse hits you. But there's a couple spots in that level you're jumping up a tower, and you've got to make some pretty long jumps, and he was missing those, so I had to help him out a little bit with those, but he got most of them. He could do the ones going up, but then when it was like a big gap, he would just fall down it. And there was a couple of times where I just kept moving, so when he'd fall, he would just respawn behind me.
Oh, there you go.
So that was kind of helping too, but no, it was a lot of fun. So we started playing Metal Slug 5. I think we were playing 5 the other day. But then he quit mid-level. Like, I left the room for 2 seconds, came back, and he was playing Metal Slug X again. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. So we have like 8 of those games to go through now, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, and he recently beat TMNT Arcade, and he beat Turtles in Time for the first time the other day. But I did not help him with that. That was all him. So that was cool. But the only other thing I've really been playing is I kind of got sucked back into some Counter-Strike Source. Started with our buddy Bruno jumping into a Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Yeah.
Played a little bit of that with him. Realized how much I disliked that game due to it trying to be like Call of Duty and being
not Chad's Counter-Strike.
Yeah, not my Counter-Strike. I don't know. So I went back to Source. Immediate good times. Loved it. And yeah, I've been playing that pretty much every time I sit down on the computer lately. So
I mean, I understand. It's a quick go-to.
Just playing on it's like AWP Clans gun game server. I have no idea who that is. It's just a gun game server I found, and it's a lot of fun. I've been like 1 or 2 kills away from winning like 4 times, and just can't get that final knife kill. So, but most of the time I get like 30 to 35 kills, and then the game's over. So I'm still like 15 levels behind at that point, but I'm still having fun. I mean, it's gun game's fun. I don't get like super like angry or anything. It's usually just like, come on, like I was gonna win. There's never like, I'm never like really like raging about anything.
Yeah.
It's just like fun. So it's just silly. But yeah, that's about it. I'm really looking forward to playing some of the stuff that was announced today.
Yeah,
and,
man. We got lots of games to look forward to now.
And I've got a ton of backlog stuff to play, like the Ori collection. I've kind of been putting that off just because like last year there was so much other stuff I was trying to beat, and I don't know.
We have some new virtual console backlog that you can dive into.
Yeah, so, for sure. So,
yeah.
And that's that's nice at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's see how it goes for the rest of the year.
All right. So, I guess before we dive into the meat of this, the last thing we should do is a quick Fantasy Critic update.
Fantasy.
We need some kind of like radio thing we can press in.
We need to make like a soundboard for this thing.
We should.
We could have a lot of fun with that. And it would make this production seem a little bit more production.
It'd be cool. We'll add that to our list of projects.
Yeah.
Like a soundboard.
There
All
we
right. But yeah, fans. It's crazy. It's been like only 5.5 weeks, and every single team has already picked up 3 games.
Yeah.
So...
Well, fantasy has been great for me so far, and we'll get into that. It's you know.
Yeah. You're looking pretty strong.
I'm looking strong right now, but you know, Sadish looked really good last year, and we saw what happened there. But the biggest thing this year is having Sadish's buddy Brian in our team now. Or in our league now. So
that's what I call him.
We really don't know what he's gonna pick, what he's gonna do, and that's kind of what made us all go out and start grabbing games.
Just put us all on edge. We're like, oh gosh, God, I can't let this get taken.
Yeah. So I wonder, nobody picked up the Metroid Prime remaster, and now it's out.
I don't think that would qualify.
I guess you're right.
I think we banned remasters, but we allowed remakes.
Yeah,
so.
You're right.
Although, even though it technically seems like it has enough effort to be a remake, I think because it's called remastered, I don't think it's going to be labeled.
It would be listed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the Metroid Prime The unannounced Metroid Prime trilogy was listed there, but it could, unreleased, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I don't
anyway.
think that's happening now.
But anyway, yeah, it doesn't seem like there was too much out of today that's gonna come up that hasn't already been picked, so...
yeah, that's true. But what we have picked up so far, Chad's team of Banana and Donko. He picked up Metal Slug Tactics.
Metal Slug!
Which I'm angry.
Axe!
Planet of Lana, or Lana, however you pronounce it, and Hogwarts Legacy.
Ooh, yeah, the Hogwarts
At the
Legacy.
last minute, swooped in, and I'll let you know as recent releases, that paid off well for him.
I literally picked that up 1 hour before bids processed, as I was sitting in the car. In a parking lot.
Bold move, and it paid off, Cotton.
It did pay off.
Then our wild card with Team Nisaki, or Nisake, or I need to ask him how he pronounces that. But he picked up Atelier Riza 3, which I was kind of a little jealous of it. I thought that was going to be a sleeper pick I could pick up. But Bayonetta Origins and Homeworld 3. So some interesting picks fitting for the wild card, as it is.
Yeah, he's kind of picks a little all over the place compared to how, like, we kind of know what Sadish is going to pick, and I kind of know what you're going to pick. And then you all kind of know what I'm going to pick as well, so we have no idea. That's why wild card is, like, such a good nickname. But it's fun. It's keeping us on our toes.
Oh, it definitely is. I can't rule anything out because of him now.
For sure.
Capcom. I got Advanced Wars, which, yes, has paid off today.
Finally got
Excellent.
a date.
Yes. Storyteller, which is from Annapurna Active. They release pretty high caliber games. I think that's going to do well. And then the first game that's going to be published by Big Mo the Donkey.
Video game Donkey.
Mo.
It's going to be the greatest game ever.
Hey, I trust his opinion of games. He's an insightful individual for a comedian.
Pretty solid. We'll see how it does. It looks interesting, at least. It looks.
I had my eye on that game for a while, and it totally slipped my mind until I saw that video. I was like, oh, yeah. I need to get that.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, our cheap friend with the Nanoware. We got Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, which is that, like, Final Fantasy rhythm game. A Space for the Unbound, a little sleeper indie game that just came out. And another indie game that came out, Season, A Letter to the Future. So, those are all the pickups we had in the past month. We kind of went overboard there.
It's kind of crazy, yeah. Like 12 games in, like, the first month that we all picked up outside of the draft.
But we still have 16 games left for the season, so still a lot of game left.
Yep.
And real quick, just to go through the scores of these games that recently released. Sadish's Moon Rider, the Vengeful Guardian game, got a 79.4.
Fun game, played the demo.
Not bad.
Demo was fun. Oh, I did play that.
That's right,
Yeah,
you did play that demo.
I played that demo, it was fun. It was kind of reminded me of like a Hagane and a like Ninja Warriors kind of mashup game. It was fun.
Cool. A Space for the Unbound got an 83.4. Did pretty good for Sadish. Fire Emblem Engage got an 81.4.
No,
about where I felt like it would go.
A little better than I thought it would do, but...
Okay. Yeah. And then, our favorite here, Forspoken. Got 68.1.
Doesn't that make you feel great?
It does, because I counterpicked it. So I have 2 points in the league with no games released so far.
Can't be upset about that.
And then probably the best game so far, Dead Space Remake.
Yeah, until somebody review bombed it. Jerk.
Yeah, it was sitting around a 90. It's now at an 88.6. Because one review gave it a 5 out of 10. But
out of spite.
Out of spite. But surprisingly, very good pick. So I'm a little envious I did not pick that up. Season, A Letter to the Future, got a 76.9. I think that's a lot lower than we thought it'd be. So
Yeah, Sadish was a little upset with that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last minute snag, an hour before bids ran, Hogwarts Legacy, which technically comes out in 2 days, I think.
Yeah, it comes out on the 10th.
Sitting at an 85.9.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
That's a solid pickup.
Yeah. Anything that's an 85 or higher is good stuff.
Yeah.
In my books.
I was very happy with that because I was afraid it was gonna bomb.
I had such a hard time gauging that game based off like the review outlets and their like weird vibes with it.
Yeah, and I seriously picked it up just because like I had friends that were posting about it, like, oh, I can't wait to play this, and oh, I can't, I pre-ordered it, but it won't let me preload it, and I was like, dude, so many people are excited for this. I was like, I'm just gonna grab it, and I got it for $1 in the league too, because I was like,
I saw that too.
I was like, if somebody wants to do $2, they can have it, but I'm gonna take my risk at $1, and because I had to get it, like, you know,
yeah,
I had to get it yesterday or last weekend, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get it.
Well played.
So
well played.
I figured it was worth a shot.
Put my hat to you. But that does it for our fantasy update. So stay tuned. We'll have more games scored soon and 16 more games left to be picked up.
Yes.
And I guess we'll see what ends up being with E3 now being dead. I guess that's a news highlight I should put, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. We just said it. E3, there's no Nintendo, no Sony, no Microsoft, so we'll see what happens.
Dead on arrival. They haven't officially said anything, but without those big three, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's
that's
not
fine.
E3.
We just need... we get the Rex of this caliber for the rest of the year. Nobody...
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Nobody needs E3.
E3 who? I don't know.
This is like the first like true direct we've had in a long time. So
so good.
At least that was
so
good. So all right.
All right.
Should we jump into the direct now, or did you want to anything else?
We can jump into real quick a direct, Xbox and Bethesda before this. They had like 5 games they talked about. The only 2 I want to highlight are we got our first real in-depth look at Redfall, which I mentioned because I think Sadish has that counterpicked for Wildcard.
Oh yeah.
McNulty's team. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on it. I am still.
That's that
game.
vampire shooter game, right? Yeah. Personally, it doesn't interest me. So, but I don't know. I mean, it just looks like a little shooter thing. I don't know. I have nothing to say about it. Honestly haven't focused on it at all. Like, I kind of tuned it out during the directs because.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The bigger surprise was obviously Hi-Fi Rush, which was
cool.
a totally new game out of nowhere from the makers of The Evil Within.
Yeah, that's...
And then just released that day. It was like insane. I don't know any time I've
And it reviewed like a 90, right? It was getting like 90s in the reviews.
I think it actually has settled at a 90.
Yeah. Nice. It's kind of
crazy.
Like,
I asked everyone in our league if we wanted to have a special auction for it, and we all were like doing the math, and we're like, nah, this game's probably just gonna be an 80. Let's just ignore it.
It's hard to say, like, you know, like it's hard to judge it off of like launch day trailer. You never seen anything before, so. It's like, I don't know, because I kind of look at it, it's like, all right, rhythm-based, like, slasher thing, like, and I was like, okay, Metal Hellsinger got, what, like, a 81 last year or something?
Yeah, that was the math I was doing. I took, like, a Metal Hellsinger mixed with The Evil Within, mixed with, like, Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah, trying to see, like, if rhythm games are actually going to do that well, and, like, I don't know, I didn't want to get into a bidding war over something that, like, I didn't really know what it was going to do, But yeah, it's good, interesting because I wonder if we're gonna run into more of that this year. Of like games that we've never heard of get shadow dropped, and we've gotta throw out, we've gotta do an auction or something like that to get it.
Kind of cool.
That's a good idea though, to do the auction.
I'm definitely more interested now after seeing that to like give other games a chance. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, they
Alright.
definitely knew they had a good game on their hand, otherwise they wouldn't have shadow dropped it like that.
That's true.
So,
I think that worked really well for their favor too. Like, I don't know if it would have held that attention if it was like announced and then like people waited 5 months and are like, oh yeah, what is this game again?
yeah,
It got everyone to like jump on it.
yeah,
So,
that's true too. Because it just caught everyone like off guard out of nowhere.
yeah.
So,
All right, but that's all we really need to talk about Xbox. The rest of it, Forza, Minecraft, Beyond, Elder Scrolls. Okay, next, let's go.
hey, I need to know Forza. Forza still says it's coming out this year. I have Forza on my fantasy team.
That was the
so-
weird part about that, though.
It
That was
j-
the only game that did not get its release date.
Yeah, we'll see. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like
I'm
it's
sure.
cars. They've probably already got all the licenses done. It's.
That's why I said I don't really care, because like it's a card game. It looks like a card game. Good job.
Yeah, for sure. So, but let's get to the meat. The Nintendo Direct for today
Alright.
opened up with a beautiful space scene. And a
Mario Galaxy
spaceship.
3.
Yeah, the spaceship comes through, and my first thought was Metroid. No. Pikmin 4.
Mhm.
Pikmin 4 is coming, which is great. I
Good
know
way
a lot
to
of people.
open.
I know a lot of people are excited about it. There's been rumors about it being in May, which
Not the
would have
case.
been really weird with Zelda,
Yeah.
because that was kind of making me tell Patrick like, oh man, they're gonna delay Zelda to holiday, and we're gonna get a Switch too, and like, yeah. So the
Yeah.
fact that they opened with it, I was starting to think that. But
Should we even like mention all of the drama that was happening before this direct, and everyone was like losing their minds?
sure, let's get into that. Let's get into that rabbit hole. So it's not that much. There was
Not much.
there was a leak that the eShop had Zelda listed for $69.99, and everybody lost their mind.
I'm like, what?
Like,
What? $70? What does that mean?
yeah,
And then like retailer sites were starting to pull pre-orders pages for it, and they're like, what?
yeah. So, and this was the day before the direct, so everybody was speculating, like, oh, why are they raising the price of this game? They're just doing it to keep in line with Xbox and Sony, blah blah blah. And then you got people getting upset, like, I'm not paying $70 for last gen games, blah blah blah. Which I kind of get. I mean,
Yeah.
because honestly, because we'll get to it, because it doesn't make sense when you think about it. I mean, it's definitely, they're doing it. It's a Zelda tax. That's what it is.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we'll get to that.
Okay.
But
And then
yeah,
the other thing that was crazy was then they also did the same thing for Metroid Prime 4.
yeah,
They just pulled those pre-order pages, and everyone's like, "It's gonna be Metroid stuff tomorrow now? Why is all these things that are like certain?"
they've been
gone?
there for years. Yeah, and now they're gone. So, but yeah, everyone pulled them. GameStop, Best Buy, Target, Walmart, like.
And now those Pikmin May rumors are starting to like get a little like raised eyebrows. Like, is this happening?
Yeah. So again, Patrick and I were talking, and it's like, does $70 mean that we're getting a Switch too? And that's why we're gonna have $70 games now? Like, because I can see it. From a consumer point, it's like, okay, you're gonna charge me $70 for a game on the same console where every game's been 60. Like, I get it. But that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that, but Tears of the Kingdom was announced, and all the pre-orders are back up, $69.99.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that point. But
Back to Pikmin.
back to Pikmin. Pikmin got its launch day of July 21st of this year. So
It's a nice month. I can dig it.
so we got a date. It's cool. I've never played a Pikmin before, but it looks beautiful. The game looks great.
Yeah,
As far as like the environment and everything. I don't know.
I watched the trailer a second time just to kind of notice if I had any new details, and I noticed one thing that's definitely more interesting for this entry is they're definitely playing with like the camera angle more. Like, it's a lot closer to the ground, makes the world feel bigger rather than that more overhead view that the older games seem to use. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I'll pick it up or not. You gave me 3 for the Wii U, and I never played it.
Oh man.
I
Oh yeah,
need
that's
to
right. I
play
gave
it.
you the code or something.
Yeah, you got a
Yeah.
free code, and I got a free code, but I got Wind Waker. That way, I wouldn't have to
Yeah.
open my physical copy. And then
I think I gave you the code because I already had all the games.
because there were
Nintendo
like
offered me.
it was like
Yeah.
5 games, and I think you owned them all, and you were like, "You want to play Pikmin?" And I was like, "Sure." And then you gave me the code, and I never played.
Mm-mm-mm.
It was not not intentional, but it just that's how it happened. So, but I don't know. Maybe I'll borrow it from
Still good
somebody
game.
and
Still
play
good
it on
game.
there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it looks interesting. I might check it out myself. But I'm sure you'll grab it. Pikmin
Yeah.
4.
I'm inclined to probably pick that up because
Yeah.
I've enjoyed every game. None of them have disappointed me, and I like how at least Pikmin's 1 through 3 so far, they've each felt distinct in like their tone and flavor.
Mhm.
Like Pikmin 1 has that kind of pressure of the time limit, like trying to escape this planet in 30 days. It's kind of almost like Majora's Mask again. And then Pikmin 2 is more about kind of like exploration and dungeon crawling and stuff. And Pikmin 3 finds like a nice balance between the two of those. So I feel like each one offers something. Kind of like the Luigi's Mansion series, each of those games feels unique in flavor.
Mhm.
I think they each have something to offer. So I'm very interested in what this one will kind of present itself as.
Cool.
Yeah.
So there's a game. The next game you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just wanted to
fuck.
quickly highlight it because I thought it was cool, and it's a game I had missed out on DS that I'm inclined to pick up. It's called Ghost Trick, and you play as like a detective who's died, but you are a ghost now, and so you can like inhabit objects to like kind of manipulate the crime scene so that this other person can try to help solve the crime.
Yeah.
It had a really interesting concept, and I don't know why I skipped it back in the day, but I'm glad it's coming here. And I think it was a Capcom game, which I'm much more into their like crime investigative games now. So I am very interested to try this game.
Yeah. No, it looked fun from the trailer. It looked interesting for sure. It looked like it has some humor to it
Mhm.
and stuff. So yeah, keep an eye on it. See what the reviews say, and maybe something I can grab on sale one day on a Capcom sale.
Yeah, they do have nice sales pretty often.
Yeah, for sure. So another thing that got a release date today, Sea of Stars, a game that I am very excited for, being kind of like a spiritual game of like Chrono Trigger,
Mhm.
from the creators of The Messenger,
Yep.
with the composer from Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the music's so
And
good.
I think it takes place in the world of the Messenger still, but it's like a prequel or something. So
Oh,
it's
is it?
kinda cool
Okay.
too.
Yeah. Well,
Even
first,
though it's very like Chrono Trigger inspired, but like see those ties is gonna be fun.
like the game looks beautiful. The music sounds fantastic.
so good.
And I know that the dialogue's gonna be good because that team did such a
Oh.
freaking good job with The Messenger.
Great rating.
Like
yeah.
the writing was so good in that game. Just everything about it. Like
It's funny. Like the writing outshone what probably the gameplay was of the Messenger, even though that was top notch.
yeah,
But, yeah, the writing was the real star.
yeah, it was so good, so good. They were like, there were so many like homages to other games in The Messenger, and just like I don't know, just so well done. So I'm really excited for Sea of Stars. Ever since they initially showed it in a indie world back in like 2020, I think
Mhm.
is when it was, something like that. So yeah, the cool thing about today, we got the release was August, right? I think is what it was.
I think July or August.
I think it was
I'll
August.
Have to double check.
And then, but they dropped a demo of it today.
Day.
Yeah,
Demo.
2-day demo. So I've already grabbed it, haven't played it yet. One of my buddies is playing it right now. He messaged me and said he was playing that. I just haven't had a chance to do anything before. We're recording 5 hours after the direct, so hasn't been much time. So, but really excited to get into that. So probably play that tomorrow at some point. We'll see. That'll be one of the. I'll just be playing demos and Counter-Strike all year until Zelda comes out. I think that's why I'm
double checking
having...
the date. It's August 29th. You're right.
Okay.
So.
I feel like that's why I'm not playing anything, because I know I'm gonna get into Zelda, and I'm just gonna be like, I know Zelda's coming in May, and I'm just like coasting along until May.
I don't have to get into anything too heavy.
Yeah, because I don't want to like be like fatigued by the time Zelda comes around. I don't know.
I get that. I don't
know. That's why I just like Counter-Strike is like, it's like my junk food. I can just sit there and enjoy it and feel disgusted in myself afterwards. But yeah, and then we've got the announcement of Advanced Wars.
It lives again. Yes.
So the one thing, so they said it's coming out in April. Because when they initially announced it, they said it's coming back in a few months, and we were like, months? Like, what the heck? Like, this game has been done since like
it's ready.
March, July of last year, or something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm wondering if they're editing stuff out of it, or if it's just that's how long it's taking to get the stock back that was pulled back
so
before.
Weird. Especially since there was another game they announced, came out today digitally, and it's coming out physically in 2 weeks. It's like, why can't you just do that?
And we know that game already had an eShop leak because it went up early and people got it.
So it's weird.
So it's really strange. So I personally feel like when this comes out, there's going to be something about it that like it's not going to quite be the same as the first game. I don't know. I feel like... I don't know, it just feels weird.
Or maybe they're trying to like gauge pre-order interest now to see like how many copies should we make. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly something like that. I don't know. I'm still under that assumption that maybe they edited out like a bunch of Russian stuff. Just to make them feel better about it, since that was their stance on not doing it. They did neglect
to show like any of that side of the game in the trailer today.
They barely showed anything. They didn't even show the war of the game. They just showed like...
They just showed the 3 main characters.
They showed the 3 main characters riding out in like an anime cutscene.
Yeah,
and that was
They didn't show like any of the bad guys, so it's just like the Russia or anything. So.
Any gameplay. So I don't know. I'm curious if they kind of like...
Good point.
If they, made it like, I don't know, some other fictional country or something to like just play with it. I don't know. Like, I don't know, just weird. But anyway, I guess we'll see. It's only about a month away.
But good thing it exists. It's coming out. I'll get it in my fantasy team now, so all good.
Then came a super exciting moment, and that was Nintendo Switch Online finally has Game Boy. Original Game Boy. And
I did not think this was gonna happen. Like I'd given up hope.
It made so much sense that this should have been there from the start. Like this should have been there with NES. Like honestly, I'd say Game Boy should have came before Super Nintendo did, just because of like how minimal Game Boy. Like first of all, they take up 0 space. Second of all, like they're such like small games.
A handheld system, like
it's a handheld system. That's like the biggest thing. But before we talk about the second announcement, just a little talk about Game Boy itself. Awesome. You get the standard color palette, the Game Boy.
Oh yeah.
The what is it? Is the
Game Boy Pocket.
So the green palette, the white palette, and then the Game Boy Color palette. So that's awesome. You get to pick between the 3. And the games that they showed for launch, the very first game they showed for it, Super Mario Land 2: The 6 Golden Coins, masterpiece game.
The best Mario games.
Love it. That game is so good, and they showed it with a color palette on, and it looks so good. There's ROM hacks out there of that game.
I've seen those,
and they look beautiful. So I'm hoping that this, kind of. They did a little bit of tweaking in the emulator, make it look a little good. Or maybe they just stole that ROM hack. They've done that before. They've stole ROMs and put them on there before. We'll see. I'm sure that'll come out. Somebody's probably already posted about it. But yeah, so we got Mario 2. We've got Tetris, the Game Boy Tetris. That's like my favorite version of Tetris. Like,
my mom played that game like all the time when we were in doctor's offices and dentist appointments.
When I repurchased my original Game Boy recently, not recently, like 10 years ago now, but when I bought that first game, Tetris, and I kept it.
I still got a copy over. Yeah.
I keep it in that thing. It's in my DMG 001 right now. It's in the other room. I just keep it there.
Actually, I think I got Tetris DX, the color one, but still.
Yeah. So I know one of my friends who like isn't even a gamer. I remember going to their house once and like pulling open the drawer in the bathroom, and there was a Game Boy with Tetris in the bathroom because it was just like, that's what you're gonna do. So it's like, hey, like whatever. Like it's such a good game. It's fantastic. But anyway, best version of Tetris in my opinion. I love it. Link's Awakening DX. Can't complain about that game. Awesome game. Yeah. You know, it's pretty funny that they released that. I mean, they have to. Though. You can't not release that.
But it's also like you can play this free version, or you can spend $60 to get this.
But that version's so good though. It's so good. I love it. I don't care about the frame rate issues or any of that stuff because it's like the frame rate's like when you walk in and out of the screen. Whatever. Game plays beautifully.
I wonder. I was actually replaying that recently, and I was like wondering if part of the frame rate issue is because they have like the world so open all at once. If they
screened it like the Game Boy.
They screened it,
yeah, maybe.
I think that might have been part of the issue.
Possibly, like a
that
buffer.
Trying to track all this all at the same time.
Like a buffer issue or something. Yeah. But we got Gargoyle's Quest, which is that was like the first game in the Gargoyle's Quest series. It was on Game Boy. The second one was on NES. But that's basically you're playing. I forgot the guy's name, but you're playing the guy from Ghost and Ghouls, the little
Ghost and Ghouls.
Yeah, Ghost and Goblins, whatever, however you want to say it. But forgot his name. But it's supposed to be a pretty good game. Like I've had them both, of course. I've owned them. I actually just recently got rid of my Gargoyle's Quest for Game Boy, so this actually works out. I traded it to somebody when I was doing arcade stuff. So yeah, there we go. And but no, it's supposed to be a really good game. It was I think it was about like a $30 Game Boy game when I got my copy. So I think it was roughly about the same still. So you know, if you look at it from a value perspective, like great, very random game, but it's a Capcom game too, though. So maybe with this, maybe we'll get Gargoyle's Quest 2 on the NES, and that is like $150 to $200 game. So that would again add more value to that. Game & Watch Gallery 3, you were excited about that.
Those games are amazing. I love all of the Game & Watch Gallery collections.
I've never played those before. I think I picked
up... They're cool. They have like the original Game & Watch like arcade games, and then they have a like remastered version of those games as like Mario characters, and it's really like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I think I've had a couple of them that I've like when I've got like lots of games and stuff, they just were there. But I've always.
And if you get like high scores in each of them, you like unlock like art or other collectibles within the game, so it's fun.
Okay.
It gives you a reason to like go for the scores.
I'll definitely check it out for sure.
Yeah.
So we also got Alone in the Dark, which looked. I've never played that, but it
never heard of it.
For a Game Boy game, it looked pretty impressive.
That's what I was. Yeah.
I mean, obviously a Game Boy Color game.
Yeah, still.
But it looked really good for like it looked impressive. You know, for what it is. I don't know if it's good or not. But for a Game Boy game, Metroid 2, special place in my heart. That was my first Metroid game that I owned, and I played the hell out of it as a kid. Recently beat it on my 3DS because I bought it on the Virtual Console. So, you know.
Fun that you beat that on your 3DS and not the remake.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those games that I always had like wanted to beat since I was a kid. So, I think I tried playing the new one before going back and beating that, and I was like, I'd rather just play that. Plus, I love the music in it. I love the music in that game. And like when the Metroids, you start fighting them, it's all like wow, wow, wow when you shoot them. I don't know. It sounds funny. The next we got Wario Land 3, which love the Wario Land series. I mean, it's basically 6 golden coins, like that style of Mario type game.
I'm not sure if I actually played that one, so I'm looking forward to trying that.
I'm pretty sure I've played it because I used to have all of them. I think I still do. I think I still have all those.
I only played the Wario Land, I think 4 that they gave away with the Ambassador program.
Oh, Wario! So I had that on GBA. Yeah. I had Wario Land 4 on GBA. Which was
fun. I enjoyed it. I was like, man, I should play more Wario Land games.
Yeah, so. The original Wario Land is my favorite. Like, I love that freaking game. But yep, and then last but not least at this moment, Kirby's Dream Land, the original Kirby game. So
that's
good.
one game I beat this year, actually. I forgot to mention.
You forgot it earlier. Yeah, that's great. But it's kind of interesting that there's this is available now too, which is awesome. And this is available for
and for the base NSO level, which is cool.
Yeah.
Treat them to a little something. I feel like they've been pushing that expansion pass pretty hard. So
yeah, because N64 was only for the expansion pass.
Yeah.
So, but now at least on the basic level, you get NES, SNES, and you're getting Game Boy. So
Really
that's
solid.
cool. There's a ton of Game Boy games, especially if you open it up to the Game Boy Color library as well.
Yeah.
There's
they announced a few that are coming up.
They did. The Ages and Oracles.
Oracle Ages and Seasons.
Ages and Seasons.
Yep, awesome games. Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah, saw that.
Dude, I love that game. I had a lot of fun that.
Kirby's Tilt and Tumble.
Which I was stoked because I never got to play that, and I was inclined to pick up a used copy, and then you told me oh no, that doesn't really work with the Game Boy Advance SP.
Yeah, because it has a gyroscope in it. It actually has that motion tilt sensor in the cartridge. So it's gonna be cool to be able they've got the emulator to
implement that into
the Switch gyroscope. So yeah, it's pretty cool that's coming. What else was there?
I just realized, what if they add WarioWare Twisted and stuff? Oh, that'd be so good.
So they are bringing WarioWare, or was that on? Oh, that's on the next thing. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
So
I jumped ahead.
It's fine. We'll jump ahead now then. So on top of Game Boy, we've got Game Boy Advance games coming out as well for Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack members. So, but regardless, you're getting Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. Awesome. The library, dude, there's 3,000 games for the Game Boy Advance. It's insane, the library for Game Boy Advance.
So many games.
Yeah, it's nuts. There's so much stuff.
I don't think people realize how great some of these Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games are.
So I missed out.
Stuff.
It'll be interesting to see what all they make. Right now, people are wondering if, because you said, Pokemon trading card game. People are wondering if we're gonna get Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, stuff like that on there. It sounds reasonable.
or give me Pokemon Pinball. Oh,
yeah, Pokemon Pinball would be great. I actually had that and played a ton of that. I love pinball games; they're fun. Yes, we're gonna get Revenge of the Gator. We're totally gonna get that game. That game's awesome. That's a HAL game, I'm pretty sure. I think.
There's a pretty good chance if that's true.
I thought it was. Maybe it's not. Oh, now I gotta Google. Let's see. I gotta Google. Sorry.
But, and on the Game Boy Advance front, we're getting Minish Cap, no longer exclusive to ambassadors.
I'm an ambassador now. I love it.
Super Mario Advance 4, Mario Brothers 3, which I think they were mentioning comes with extra levels that were only available on the e-card reader thing before.
Oh yeah, e-card reader.
Yeah, because I never played it.
I was right. Revenge of the Gator is a HAL game.
Nice.
Yeah, HAL Laboratories. Oh, the game's so good. It's just
we're getting the original WarioWare Mega Maker games, which I think is probably the best WarioWare. If you've never played that, it's so good.
Yeah, I've only played the only WarioWare game I've ever played was the demo, the one that just came out on Switch.
Gotcha. I mean that was decent, but
it's kind of the same.
Original.
Yeah, it's kind of the same objective.
I think what makes the original so good is just it's so simple and pure, just being quick games that just use an A/B button, not complicated at all. So it's refined in that sense. What else did they announce? It's a weird Kururin.
That game actually looked fun.
I mean,
it looked fun.
I think I'll play it.
You're a stick on a moving track that can't touch any of the obstacles.
Keeps rotating. And...
Yeah, that looks fun. I have a feeling that that's going to be like frustrating. It
kind of almost reminded me of, you remember Nintendo Land, the like Donkey Kong attraction with the like cart you had to like navigate?
Yep, the little cart, you had to move it around through everything. Yep,
I love that game. That was actually a lot.
You had to do it with the tilt, right? Didn't you have to tilt it with the tilt controller?
You tilted and like hit buttons, like shoot the springs. And,
yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that. I just remember it because that was all I had. I had Nintendo Land and Mario Brothers U or whatever. That was all I had.
We got Metroid Fusion.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's coming. That's a coming soon game.
Oh, that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped.
No, it's okay.
Now we have Mario Kart Super Circuit.
Super Circuit.
And the best game, I think, which you need to play this game. It's so good, especially since I'm getting you to love like Mario RPGs now.
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Yeah, I've heard that one's great. I've heard it's really, really good. You know what I'm excited for too, though? Now it gives me this option that we will, I would assume, very likely get for the Game Boy, Donkey Kong 94. Eventually, I would have to imagine they're gonna do that.
Absolutely.
And Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the GBA, because I never got to play that either. So I'm looking forward to the future. Hopefully, even if it's like years from now. Yeah. But I think that'd be a lot of fun. But on top of the other games coming though, Metroid Fusion, like you said,
that's near future.
I owned that game. I've had my copy of it until like 2017, and I sold it. Of course, but that was like my childhood copy too. But I never beat it. I probably got like I don't know, maybe halfway, if that. But
that game holds a special place in my heart. I really loved that game. Like, I think that is one game that does horror really well, like across all games. Like, I had fear and just anxiety whenever that SAX like came on the screen. You hear those footsteps and you're like, oh gosh.
So the thing for me with that game was when I was in high school, I bought my GameCube strictly because like I bought my GameCube and my Game Boy Advance, the link cable, Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime, just so I could hook up my Game Boy Advance to my GameCube. But the thing with Game Boy Advance games is that was right around the time where I pretty much stopped playing handheld video games. I just got to that point where like I was skateboarding everywhere, or like if I was playing a video game, I was playing Counter-Strike on my computer, or I was playing PS2, or I was playing GameCube. Those are like, and then I got my Xbox too, and I was playing Halo. So it was just like my Game Boy Advance was like the only time I played my Game Boy Advance was when we would have our 8-hour flights from Germany to come back home, and then I would play Game Boy on the flight. Like that's where I played like Super Mario Advance. That's where I played Link to the Past remake, all that stuff. But I only had a handful of. I had Wario Land 4. I had Pokemon Ruby. I bought that in high school too. But I barely played them. So like I don't think I ever completed a game. I don't think I ever completed a game on the Game Boy Advance, like an actual Game Boy Advance game. So I'm excited to have this here.
You ever beat Minish Cap or?
No, I did beat Minish Cap, but not like back then. I didn't beat that until a few years ago.
Yeah, okay.
But now, like, there's definitely games that I've gone back and played since. But as far as like launch, like when it was out, no, there was so much I missed out on. I actually bought a Game Boy SP when I came back from Germany and ordered it, but it didn't get delivered in time for me to go back to Germany, so I ended up having to cancel my order. And I don't know why I did that instead of just going to the store. I must have had a gift card or something online. It just didn't make sense, but I don't know.
Yeah. So,
but
now that you're not wanting to get into big games before Zelda, you got a lot of quality, like still substantial, but like smaller games to digest. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about that. And then for other people, you've got like Fire Emblem, You've got Golden Sun. People have been wanting Golden
I'm
Sun
really
forever.
curious about Golden Sun.
Yeah, I've heard good
I hear
things about
so
it.
much.
I've seen it before, like when I've been out at the game stores, and like I'm pretty sure I probably had a copy of it at one point and traded it. But yeah, just because I knew it was, it's one of those more sought after series, and they haven't made one in forever, so people are definitely stoked for that. The next thing that popped up, Metroid Prime Remastered. Looks beautiful.
Oh man.
As soon as they showed that opening, I was like, oh man, this is Metroid Prime. But dude, like you could see like everything was like, instead of being like a little polygonal, it was like smooth, rounded, clear. Mm-hmm. Like it just looks so good.
Very clean, nice sense of like volume and just atmosphere, the mood and everything. Yeah.
And it has modernized controls, which is going to be fantastic, as well as they said you can mimic the original GameCube controls, which honestly I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing I guess you can do the GameCube controller with, I bet you they'll let you use the Smash Brothers GameCube adapter.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool.
Or you could use the Power A wireless ones to kind of mimic that.
Think about that. That'd be nice.
So that'll be something, because they said there's multiple control schemes.
They said multiple controls, which I'm hoping that also includes like
motion,
Wii remote nunchuck style with the Joy-Con, so you can like aim and yeah. So I love those controls.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I just want to play it. I want to play it and beat it, because I've gotten like, I don't know, how far would you say it was? 30-40% through it or something like that. I don't even remember where it was.
Like the ice boss or something?
I think I beat him.
I think around
I definitely beat him, and then I got
a little past that.
A little bit, a little past that. So
you were probably halfway or more.
Yeah. So, but that was on. I can't do those controls. It's so tough, man. Like, it's funny because I remember when it came out, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is so good. And then like Halo came out, and it was like, that sucks. So
it did the best it could.
That's kind of like GoldenEye, man. GoldenEye is like the same thing. It sucks, like, but it was just suck.
It wasn't bad. I think it was just different.
Yeah,
it was very different compared to most like other shooters.
But I'm excited. I'm super excited for that. Like, that's another game that I've always like. Again, I bought that game with my GameCube. I've been so excited to like play it, and I've always tried to go beat it, and I always end up stopping for some reason. So I'm hoping that being on Switch now with more modernized controls, it's gonna click, and
you'll be able to play it in bed and just
that's the key. I'm an old man. Again.
No,
the two things so far we've been excited over.
Old stuff.
20 plus years old. Like, Metroid Prime originally came out in like 2001, 2.
Metroid Prime, it doesn't matter how old it is still one of my top 10 favorite games of all time.
The game looks amazing. Like, even loading it up in the GameCube now, like, looks awesome. And I don't even have my like digital output for my GameCube or anything. I'm just running it through AV, and it looks fantastic still. Like, it's a little muddy, but it looks good compared, like, considering how old it is. It looks beautiful. And then the stuff that people have done with like Dolphin, adding texture mods and stuff, like just sick. Playing it in like 4K.
That game was somehow like 10 years ahead of its time when it released. So.
The like fog on the visor as you go into like hot areas, and like the sweat and like the frost, and you breathe.
Charged up your blaster all the way and hit a wall, and then it like
you'd see the stuff.
on.
Yeah. you see all like this,
Oh,
like
good.
yeah, man. Like,
Oh, good.
that's why Nintendo could charge whatever the hell they want for their
Yes.
games, because they
Speaking
put
of
that love into
charging,
it.
this is only $40.
$40, not bad.
Very fair.
And that's digital release today, which was pretty cool. Shadow Drop, and then
and physical.
yeah,
What? How
February
long?
22nd.
I ordered it. How long do I have to wait?
It's like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. So yeah, we already got that pre-ordered before the podcast tonight. So really excited about that. That'll probably be what I jump into next. I'll probably try to play some of these Game Boy games, and then I'll jump into Metroid, and that'll tide me over until that should tide me over till May.
That sounds nice.
So yeah.
All right. Next on this list is a game I'm excited for. Chad just has no clue, but he should be excited for.
I'll watch you play, and we'll see what happens.
You know what was funny? Half of this direct felt like a level 5 direct. I don't know if you know, level 5 is a game studio. They made Fantasy Life. They made the
Fantasy Life was something else. Like there was a bunch. We're talking about highlights that we were interested in. There were
like
stuff.
4 or 5 different level 5 games that are announced today. But the one I'm most excited about, Professor Layton, is back. And not just back, they're making a new Professor Layton game. I thought he was retired. I thought he had a good run. I was happy, he had a good send-off. I was like, enjoy your retirement, Layton. No, he is back, and I am so excited. I love Professor Layton games. I don't think you understand, and you would love these games too.
As soon as you saw that little top hat, you were like, ooh! You were so excited over it.
Dude, these games.
I mean, I'll take your word for it, man. Like
they're made for the DS. They made like 6 of them, 4 for the DS and 2 for the 3DS. And each one of those games had like 150 to like 200 puzzles that are like block puzzles, brain teasers, just fun.
Sounds
really
right
cool
up my
puzzles.
alley.
Yeah, and just coupled with like cool animation and storytelling, like sprinkled in. So you're just solving puzzles and getting a nice story and then solving some more puzzles, and it was such a good time. So,
it sounds right up my alley, man.
They had probably the best crossover ever, which was Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. Those worlds combined way better than they have any right to be. So
I hope there was some Steel Samurai references between the two.
But yes, Professor Layton was like a part of my Nintendo DS, just like identity, like its history. I just love that series, and so I'm so glad it's back.
Nice. Well, I will definitely watch you play it and see if it's something I want to jump into.
Yeah, I think you'll be intrigued when you see more. You'll be like, yeah, I kind of want to get this.
That's cool. And then the next thing that gave us some excitement, and the direct's almost over at this point. We're really got like 5 minutes left.
Well, sizzle reel and then it's over.
Yeah. So we get Mario Kart Booster Pass Wave 4. No
only
date.
showed one track.
One track. That was the Yoshi. Yoshi Woods, Yoshi Forest.
Impressive looking track.
Looked good. Looked really good.
It really had that style of like Yoshi's Island, and the music too was like really like well orchestrated.
Yeah.
And it's cool, they're adding character to it as well, which they haven't done for any of the passes yet.
Yeah, they added Birdo from Super Mario Brothers 2, which
or as they were saying, was first featured in Double Dash for the Mario Kart series.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. So it's pretty cool. They're adding stuff. So that's what my comment during that was they should just rename this game to Mario Kart Ultimate already and just stop.
It really is. It's. I don't want it to stop though, but
Well, not stop, but like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, just like, everybody, like, there's why make a Mario Kart 9 with
it is hard to imagine what they could do next. Like open world Mario Kart, that's what they have to do next.
Yeah, it would have to be
the only way they can distinguish themselves.
It would have to be like a Need for Speed Underground sort of thing, where you're like driving around the Mushroom Kingdom and challenging people for pink slips for their carts. Like, I don't know, what do you do? Just the Fast and the Mario Kart?
Or if not Mario Kart, bring F-Zero and do that open world.
Something. That would be cool, because then like you could have like massive worlds, and you could use the speed to just like haul like the next area.
Isn't like Captain Falcon like a bounty hunter or something? Like he could be getting missions and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all they showed for that. But you know, they said stay tuned for more information coming soon. Then we got the one more thing that we all knew was the one more thing. Well, we assumed we had to win. I was kind of hoping for Silk Song, but you know, I'll put my clown mask on now. But because we knew Zelda was coming, and Zelda's gonna, you know, they're gonna do their thing. So they showed about another
I think
60 seconds.
Watched it again. No, it was 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Was it really that long? I guess it just went by really fast.
Yeah.
So, I need to go back and watch it. I haven't watched it more than when we watched it live. It looks like more Breath of the Wild to me.
Yeah.
Isn't a bad thing. I mean, I'm getting it regardless. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna get this game. I'm gonna get this game. I'm going to get this game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. It started off with a voice telling people to go take over Hyrule, and then you see the Blood Moon again, and then the monsters
it has
start.
Some good vibes at the beginning. Like,
It's got
nice,
real spooky,
undertones. Yeah.
And then they showed that mummy again, like that zombie, like open its eyes and
it's like riding the crumbling castle, just like.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, because other than that, I guess the only other kind of crazy things they showed Link riding what looked like a massive tractor, using his abilities.
They showed quite a few vehicles that I actually noticed upon rewatching. Like, a giant car, a drone. There was like a hot air balloon. There was a bunch of different ways to travel in the game, and
which
I'm thinking is probably their answer to like, how do we let you navigate this giant world again without it feeling monotonous? Let's let you do it more easily with vehicles. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's my only concern with the game is like, it looks like when they did some overhead shots, and it was like, okay, that just looks like Breath of the Wild. Like I know that lighthouse. I've been there before, and I remember that. I remember this, and you know, and that's always been the case because it's the same world, and it's supposed to be a sequel. That's what they said.
Only like new areas so far that they've shown are these little islands in the sky.
Yeah, so it's gonna be, and even with like another 2-minute trailer today, like didn't show us much really. No. Like they showed some bokoblins. I get the impression they're still hiding a lot. Yeah. They did show a lot of new enemy types. If you like rewatch, you'll notice there's a whole bunch of new types of enemies. That really big monster that was like made out of like blocks was kind of like weird
square golem thing.
They showed like the scene where there's some scene, like we don't know when it takes place, but there was a scene of like Link standing on the bottom of a guardian. Like the guardian was like upside down, and then like you see the guardian legs come out, and Link's kind of like, oh no,
like a cage almost.
Yeah. So it's kind of like
there's like a new type of goblin that was kind of like almost like medium large, like commanding the smaller goblins.
And they had the flying guys too.
New flying guys. There was one distance shot where you saw this bridge, and it had like a giant dragon, like 3-headed hydra or something on it that was like on fire.
Ooh, that would be that's like a reference to like Zelda 1.
Yeah.
Like level 5, the three-headed dragon.
Yeah. So they hinted at a lot of new enemy types, which is I think promising. Lots of new just like navigational things, like grinding on rails, and
that looked interesting.
So, but in terms of like the map and world, I still feel like they're hiding something. That's the only thing that doesn't look new yet.
Yeah, if it's like we were talking earlier, like a dark world, or like you know, I've heard other people talk about like time travel,
or just a massive like underground system that we're just not seeing. They did show a little bit of some cave shots, but not
Yeah.
much.
But yeah, like
So,
no dungeons. We don't know like
yeah.
what's the point. Like
What are we doing?
what's
What-
yeah. Like we have no idea. Like at least before, I feel like we kind of had an idea of like originally like we had Divine Beast and we knew we were gonna that was gonna be your dungeon. Like, but I don't know. This one so
A
far.
lot of mystery still. A lot of mystery.
Yeah. So we got like 3 months to go still. So.
Yeah. I think we're down to almost like 13 weeks.
Yeah. So I'd have to imagine we're gonna get a Zelda specific direct in the next few weeks.
Just one more Zelda direct.
Just like a 20-minute direct of like
20 minutes at least.
Yeah. Just kind of sharing what's going on. So, but with that said, as we talked earlier, the game is going to be sold for $69.99. All those pre-orders are back up as of right now. GameStop, however, is holding its standard pre-order price of $59.99.
I think that got updated.
Did it get updated?
It's now $69.99.
Okay. Scratch that. Yeah, that's what happens. Like I literally saw that right before we recorded too. So, but so $69.99. They announced a collector's edition, which comes with a regular case, steel case, an art book, and pins. So,
out of that, really, I just want that art book. Is it worth an extra $50? I don't know.
Yeah, so that's the one thing. Like,
or
I got it.
$60 actually, man, that's expensive.
I got it.
I did order it.
It's the same price as the Master Edition, which you can see that really big black box up there on my shelf. That was the Master Edition. It came with, that came with so much stuff. Same price. Came with Breath of the Wild. Came with the coin. Came with the map. Came with the Switch carrying case, and
that alone it was worth it.
And
I still use that carrying case.
I still do too.
To this day.
I still do too. Anytime I go out, and it came with a Master Sword replica from Breath of the Wild for the same price. So it's kind of like, I was kind of hesitant. Like, do I want to do this? But then, all that stuff up there is all Zelda. So why not?
Why not? What else are you going to use your money for?
Yeah. Food.
Might as well give it to Zelda.
So, but yeah, so it is interesting though. Pikmin's pre-order is up, and it's $59.99.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out around the same time, but Zelda is $69.99. So that's definitely kind of looks. It's a little shady. With that said, though,
part of it is because they can. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
they're
definitely
confident it will sell, so why not?
Yeah. So it makes it feel worse for the people that are care about that kind of stuff. You've already got people complaining about like, I'm not gonna pay $70 for previous gen games, and I get it, but at the same time it's like, well then I guess you're not playing Zelda. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
I feel like, I don't know, Nintendo feels a little more honest to me, in the sense that, I mean, you look at Metroid Prime, for example. That's a game they could have easily charged more than $40.
Yeah.
But I feel like they are charging what they feel the game is worth, as well as like how much effort they put into it. They've been working on this for 6 years now.
Yeah, well, I feel like people are also mad about Metroid because the rumor was always the trilogy was ready.
Yeah.
And then if we would have got the trilogy for $60, probably would have gone over better, because if they end up releasing Echoes and Prime 3 Corruption separately for $40, then you're into it $120 for remakes, when the trilogy was, you can buy the trilogy now on the Wii for like $60. And it was only $20 on the Wii on the virtual shop.
I think they sometimes shot themselves in the foot with that. Like when I don't know what they were thinking when they sold it for that price on the Wii U.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I get it. I get people being upset about it, but like...
I also think the Metroid series was kind of struggling for the longest time, so they didn't know. Or I guess they sold it for less than they wanted to, just to help it.
Well, I think this will definitely, like, Dread was the highest selling Metroid game out of the entire series.
And so now I think they have a little more confidence.
Yeah, you got a bigger audience, and you're gonna get people. You're gonna get all the, like I told you before. I had like 8-year-old kids at a birthday party I went to with my son. They were playing Metroid Dread, and when I told them I beat it, they were like, "Oh my gosh, you beat it!" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, you should play Super Metroid on the Switch app. Like, that's a good game. And then like, but those kids, like, they didn't play Metroid Prime, and now they're gonna get that experience. Like, like they're gonna know, like, oh, I played Metroid Dread. Now I want to play Metroid Prime, and those are the the target audience now. Well, the target audience is us, but.
It's crazy to me. Like,
it's the benefit.
Dread as a $60 game and Prime as a $40 game. Prime, what a masterpiece!
I love Dread though. I had so much fun with Dread. I had a lot of fun with Dread.
Prime, oh my goodness.
The only time I got mad at Dread was that last boss. But then once I read that you could cheese it with a super bomb, I was like, okay.
Jesus, that was the strategy.
Oh yeah, but. When to do it, I guess, was the thing. But yeah, no, that was a solid direct. Like I said,
so
like
good.
Like
so good.
Pretty much from like Sea of Stars and on, it was like, oh yeah. I was pretty happy because, what did we dropped like $170 tonight on pre-orders.
Yeah.
Just for 2 games.
I think that's a indication of a successful direct.
But we also got games today. We got so many games today. Just getting Game Boy and Game Boy Advance on Switch, like just getting that, I would have been like, hell yeah, got it today. We're good. Like, that's great. And like for the people that go all digital, like you got Metroid Prime today. Like, that's awesome. Like, if it was only available digital, I probably would have picked it up tonight.
Probably.
But if it was only digital,
but I would have.
but the fact that I'm glad that they said a physical copy is available is like, they cater to that, and I was like, great. And it's still.
I am glad that they are still giving that physical audience something.
For sure. Watch, we're gonna get it, and it's just gonna be a freaking download code in a box.
What would be the point of waiting?
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I was happy. So it was a good direct, good night.
Great for me. Metroid, Game Boy, Professor Layton's back. Zelda. Like, how much more could they give me in one direct?
The only thing that so what do we still have to hear? There has to be something Mario in the works. Yeah. We've got nothing about a new mainline Mario game since Odyssey.
I mean, they did say they were focusing on the first half of the year.
Sure. That would have been too much.
And for the most part, they didn't.
That would have been too much. But my assumption is holiday.
Definitely saving Mario for E3 time.
There's got to be something. Like, it makes zero sense to have this massive movie coming out in 2 months. We're 2 months away. And AMC is going to start charging you more for the seat you want to sit in right before the Mario movie comes out. Very bad. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would the company that made Mario, known for its video game, not have a video game ready for the movie?
When's the last time they made a new 2D Mario game?
Mario Brothers U remake. Yeah. The remake on Switch, but yeah.
If you don't count the remake, before that, that's 2012.
Yeah. It's 11 years.
11 years. Come on.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
That is your money maker, Nintendo.
There's got to be something, and I hope Chris Pratt voices it just because people. No, I don't. I joke, but oh, speaking of, real quick before we end this, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Oh, gross. Gross.
It just did not sound at all what I was expecting Donkey Kong to sound like.
It just sounds like Seth Rogen.
Well,
it's just
the thing was,
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong to me, like,
it's a silly gorilla, not a sarcastic jerk. I don't know.
I don't know. I was just expecting more of like Seth Rogen to kind of be a little more gruff, like you know what I mean, just kind of like or something like that, like a little more like you could talk, but more like in that tone instead of it just sounding like a teenager. Like he sounded like a smart teenager. It's exactly what he sounded like.
Like, I'm sure it won't be horrible.
It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine.
As like a side character for this movie, but it gives me a little anxiety if they make a Donkey Kong movie now, and that's the voice I have to listen to the entire movie.
Here's the thing, though. It could be totally fine.
I don't know
fine.
if I can.
I think it'll be fine once you watch the movie. You know.
For the Mario movie, fine. It's fine. If they make a Donkey Kong movie, I might. That's just not Donkey Kong to me.
Again, but that's the thing. It might be the cinematic Donkey Kong, and that's just what it is. So
it's a hard sell.
But Donkey Kong's never spoke before.
Exactly.
So that's what's like, you know.
He's a silly monkey.
Yeah.
I don't know. My Donkey Kong is like all the Smash Brothers cinematics. I like the monkey who just like.
Or he's like this.
Gazing up and or like pressing his face against the windows like.
Yeah, that's the picture I think of, like the Smash reveals for like King K.
That's
Rool
my Donkey Kong.
And Duck Hunt Dog.
He's not a, I don't know.
And Banjo. Oh man, they used that like 3 times. That Duck Hunt. Oh, the Banjo one was so good.
So
but anyway, yeah. I don't know. There's got to be Mario in the works. There's got to be something.
For sure.
I mean, I not having a holiday game again, unless Tears of the Kingdom is going to carry him through this year, and then maybe we'll get a Switch 2 at holiday or something.
Rumor is true that they're going to have a light second half. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that is true. That was a rumor.
That was a rumor.
So,
but I gotta imagine that they at least have 1 or 2 something else for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I'd have to think so, but
I can't complain right now. There's so much to look forward to through like August that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the Game Boy backlog alone for me will tide me over, and then Zelda's gonna take at least I would assume 120 hours, like Breath of the Wild did. Unless it's different enough where it's gonna take 40. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it still feels as magical as the first one.
I feel like if it was a shorter game, it would have been out by now.
That's true. So. That is true. They're being very, very careful with this game, which is good. Like I'm fine with the delays, unless if the game comes out and it's horrible or like just not as good, or at least on par with Breath of the Wild, it's gonna be.
Are you getting nervous with your fantasy team now?
No, because Zelda always reviews well. Like even a bad Zelda game reviews well. So, but it's just more for me. Like I don't want it to be too far off the mark where I'm just gonna be like, I don't want it to feel like a chore.
I'm starting to reel in my expectations. I was like way up there, and now I'm like, all right, come on, let's get down a little bit. It's gonna be good. All right. Don't disappoint yourself. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's like it doesn't matter what you think about it. It's just gonna be like, you know, it'll be fine. Yeah. I'm just as soon as I get back into that world and start running around and getting new waypoints.
I think part of the reason I'm not as hyped now is just I was still waiting for that like 2017 Zelda story trailer. Like. Yeah. Level of just goosebumps, and I have not gotten it from any of these trailers so far.
Yeah, because like, we still don't know like the other thing, like you knew what it was, like we said earlier, like Link, like Zelda's waking you up because you have to save Hyrule from this, you know, evil entity or whatever. Like you knew what you in that, and then they just showed the decimation of the kingdom. And like you're trying to save it.
Little flashback tidbits of like Zelda who was trying to stop it but couldn't do it by herself. She was failing, and you felt like emotion for her.
Yeah, for sure. And And so
and
far,
this is just like, I'm gonna jump off the sky. It's just like, okay.
Like that first teaser when they showed, with Zelda and Link in the crypt going up the steps, like that was really cool, and it kind of gave you that.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, what's going on? What's gonna happen? Then they find the mummy, and he wakes up, and then it's like, oh, and then the castle rises, and you're like, story, and then nothing we've seen since then, other than today. Today they got back to a little bit of that. But before
it's also just like the same moments. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like they just showed that, and then they showed like
there's the mummy guy. There's Zelda falling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Link falling.
Both of them. Yeah.
But
the very last shot of Zelda and Link falling.
Yeah. But they show that like every trailer since has just been like Link skydiving, like Skyward Sword, and then like a little bit of like stasis or something from the Sheikah Slate, and then it's just like, okay, but like,
and I want to see,
what are you gonna do for me?
Who else is here in this world? Like, that was the other thing about that story trailer. It's like it showed like all of the champions and their friends and like shaking hands and like, here it comes, and just like, let's get the excitement. Here's the Great Fairy, and just like, here's the world, and I don't have that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I totally feel the same way. Because, like, to me, it's just kind of like, okay. But I will say that's kind of weird. It's like, when you're falling, it almost, like you said, layers. It's almost like you're falling from, like, higher than what we're seeing right now. Because it does look like it. Because, like, you'll be on the ground, look up, and you see the little islands. But they don't look like they're that high.
It doesn't.
So I'm almost like, I'm wondering if those like falling scenes is like a completely separate world, or if it's somehow tied together with Skyloft, and that's why they wanted you to play Skyward Sword last year or whatever it was, because they want you to experience that, so you have a familiarity.
What if there is like a whole like equivalent of Hyrule just up there that we just don't know? Like, we're all thinking underground. What if it's just like above you?
Maybe. I mean, because they're emphasizing all the different sailcloths and stuff, like like the amiibo, like all the different amiibos give you different sailcloths. I don't know, there's tons to talk about. Like, I'm sure Game Explain is probably, if they haven't put out the video yet, it's in the works. To see their breakdown, but I'll have to check that out. But I think that's about it to say. I don't know. I mean, we could probably keep speculating, but I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited regardless. I just don't know. I just don't know what to expect at this point, and it's, I'm sure it'll be fun.
I'm just glad I have enough distractions now to tide me over.
For sure. And I'm glad that we were both able to get our pre-order in tonight without waking up at like 4 in the morning to get it, or like finding out when we woke up that we missed it and then never getting it again.
Thank you, Wario64.
Yes. It's funny because when I got that alert and I immediately clicked the link and ordered it, and then I texted you, I was like, and you were texting me back, I was like, yes.
I was doing the exact same thing. I ordered and then started texting you, and you were like, all right, we both saw it.
Yep. Yeah, because I had the alerts from Twitter and Discord coming to my phone. So it was like, as soon they both hit, they were like, CE up, and I was like, boom, got it. My phone was actually, I think it died. It's almost dead. But anyway, I guess we'll wrap that up. This was a fun hour and a half, shorter direct than usual. Could have been shorter, but we like to talk, and it was an exciting direct. So
it was worth talking.
Can ramble, but episode 30 in the books. We'll be back for 31, hopefully next month, or maybe the month after. We'll see. Try to make this a little more regular.
I bet next month we can have a little talk about Game Boy and Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Haven't played it.
At least have some, we'll have some talks, because, we'll have some more games to play, we'll have some more fantasy updates.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure there'll be something in the news to be delayed on talking about, but we'll do it. So, until then, we will talk to you later.
Happy gaming, everybody.
And we're out. See ya.